got into marketing events, solicitation. I was a marketing manager, was an internet marketing manager, and most recently was the social media manager for Channel 3. So my most recent role as social media manager, a lot of stuff that I did was train our reporters, anchors, producers, news directors, and marketing teams on best practices and how to use social media for our industry, which was broadcast media and traditional media. I also work hand in hand with our internet sales team to work with some of their clients to create social contests and social day. But today I wanted to focus on Facebook and talk about likes versus engagement, and to see if these likes are really turning into people who really, really like your brand. And I just want to preface, I'm usually behind the scenes, not in front of the scenes, so bear with me. So today we're going to cover, is like an important metric? How do I turn those likes into something further, turn them into love? And how do I track this new affection? And how do I track the engagement? And what does all this do to help my business? So first, is like an important metric? I would say yes, but by all means, it is not the most important metric you should be looking at. And a lot of it depends on how you're garnering those likes to your page. So I just have two out here. There's lots more ways to get likes to your page. But we'll talk about what I call the one-night stand and earning it. So the one-night stand, I like to call the like and the leave. A lot of businesses out there, including ours, would conduct sweepstakes and contests to try to gain a new audience to your page. The challenge is a lot of these businesses choose prizes that are not relevant to their business or their industry. For example, the iPad. I've seen tons of iPad contests across the industry. And although the marketer in me loves to create a contest with a wonderful prize to garner those people, you just make the job of the social media manager for your job a little harder to retain those people coming to your page. So the majority of them are just coming to your page for that iPad. So they're going to come, you might see a spike in your likes, a spike in your engagement, and once that contest ends, the majority of them will leave the page. So it's kind of a like and a leave. Again, I'm not saying I dislike contests. I'm just saying if you're going to conduct a contest, try to think of a prize that's relevant to your business, and try to think about what people is that prize attracting, and will these people come in and like our business, our product, our service. Because if you do that, I think you'll have a better chance of retaining them as customers and loyal fans. The other one is earning it by being social. This, by all means, is probably the slowest way to gain likes to your page, but it's the most effective way to do it. And you may know this, but social media is about being social. It's about that two-way conversation, which a lot of traditional marketers don't quite get yet because they're so used to push marketing. But at the end of the day, if you take a step back and you think about social media like a cocktail party, I think it might help. So you think about going to a party, you get there, you mingle, you listen, you get relevant or interesting information to the conversation. You laugh, you share stories, and at the end of the day, you are connecting with people who have similar interests to you. And when you leave, you guys share information, you connect with each other, hopefully you connect again in the future. So, how do you take these new relationships, these new interactions, and turn them into something more meaningful? You get engaged. This is taking it from friendship to a meaningful relationship with your brand. And by getting engaged enters the Facebook algorithm. So a lot of you may know this, but Facebook has an algorithm. And basically what they do is they track all the activity on your Facebook page. They score it and they rank it. And then they filter out that information through news feeds of different fans and friends of your network. So every community is different, and every brand has a different community, and everybody connects differently to your stuff. So they're just ranking and scoring it, and they're doing what's important that's going to all your fans. So even if you have 1,000 likes on your Facebook page, not all 1,000 people are getting all of your updates all the time. Facebook's scoring it and feeding it to the algorithm. So let's talk about the algorithm. How can you maximize this algorithm to maximize your brand exposure, basically? And these, by all means, are tips. And what you want to do is you want to take these tips You tweak it to your brand because you want to stay genuine. So let's talk about it. First of all, you need to get your score up. Because again, they score and rank. So how do you get your score up? You don't post just to post, you post to interact. And this wasn't a hard lesson for me to learn at Channel 3 because it just didn't happen over time. But we have so much news throughout the day. But I had to really choose what news are people going to want to listen to, what people, I had to really think about my community and interact and see the results with my people on our pages. So think about what you're going to post, how you're going to post it, what action you're asking people to do, and then how does Facebook rank that action? So we'll talk about that. Sharing is caring. Facebook ranks sharing higher than comments and likes, or links. Likes. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Facebook ranks videos and photos higher than links and text. Change it up to work for you. Combine photos with links. Photos are very appealing, especially photos like this. I'd call it a haboo, but for real, not really silly. It's a monsoon storm. So this is very eye-grabbing. And then add a relevant, keyword relevant, link to the story for more information. So again, the picture's appealing, the link will drive traffic to your website. So change it up to work for your brand and your messages out there. Be consistent and post often. As news gets older, it loses points. So make a loose plan of what time throughout the day you're going to create posts, how many days of the week are you going to create posts, and stay consistent with it. And track it and measure it. And then once you track and measure it, what you'll find is certain content is doing better on engagement than others. Certain ways that you're posting, photos, links, videos, is doing better than others. Certain times of the day are doing better than others. And I always say take it with a grain of salt, because even your weaknesses are opportunities. And I'll give you an example. For Channel 3, at noon, no matter what type of news story that I would put up, there'd be little to no engagement. So for a while I skipped it, and I didn't do a new one. I let the 10 or 11 run on. And then I thought about it and said, okay, well maybe people are at lunch, they're checking their phones or mobile, and they don't want a heavy news story, maybe they want something light and funny. So I, being a technology nerd, started posting flashback technology, Commodore 64, the brick phone, portable CD players, and giving a little bit of history and having some fun with it. And that spiked my engagement at noon. So I went from something that was not happening, tweaking it, and spiking it. Now, of course, it's not going to last forever, but the concept is there. And so now I just need to change it up and make it light and funny and know that with my community, at that hour, that's really important. And I'll just talk about being consistent. For a news organization, myself and a lot of my counterparts, because it's news, we would post once an hour. But I also watch my posts. So if one post was getting more engagement, then I would let it ride for another hour or two. And vice versa, if it wasn't getting a lot of engagement, then I would probably pull the trigger and post another one in like 45 minutes or so. But that's news. I think we can get away with that. I think with businesses, you probably want to post maybe 2 to 3 times a day. But again, it's based on your brand and your personality and the creativity of your message. So again, every community is different. You guys are building your own community. And so, like I say, these are just tips on how to interact. But you guys really need to be in touch with your community because you're going to build your own by looking at this stuff. Post and engage, post and share. So, I don't care how important you think your post is, never post and leave. Always come back and look at that post and read the comments. Because some of the posts that I got the highest engagement really quickly is because I had grammar or spelling error, which is really embarrassing, and I wanted to get in there fast and fix it and own up to it. And another thing is, by getting in there, because people might have questions about your product or service or brand, so all of a sudden it turns into customer service. People might be sharing a story about your product or brand that maybe you want to share out to the community. So it also shows that there's a person behind your brand, or persons, and it's not just a simple brand message, that you're actually caring and interacting and sharing information. These 2 examples. Ripple Warnicki, she's a meteorologist for Channel 3. She's really good at getting in, checking comments. She'll check on her page and she'll even check on the station pages. And here she put up a map of a thunderstorm. And in the comments, someone asked if she caught the ASU game. Not even relevant to the For those of you who don't know, she's a wildcat. So they were just poking fun back and forth. This photo, we have some really good relationships with local photographers and just really everybody who posts photos on our Facebook pages. And so by sharing this photo, all of a sudden you open up comments to people who love Arizona and love the sunsets and start telling the photographer how beautiful that photo is. Then the photographer starts saying, thank you guys, you've made my day. And all of a sudden, not only are we making connections to our audience, but the audience is making connections to each other. So the more interaction that you can create, the better. Making connections. User-generated content. This is a great element to garner engagement. But what I will say and what I've learned for many years is that be ready to see it. This example right here is called Only You. And Good Morning Arizona did a news story on 2 elementary girls who started a Facebook page called Only You. And what they did is they challenged all school kids in their school to show up on a particular day with no makeup, no hairspray, no contact lenses, no, that was, and to just be themselves and feel beautiful and confident in the way they are. And they did that because they didn't like kids being bullied and teased about their looks. So literally 7 hours before this news story goes on, one of our reporters, Gina Maravilla, Facebook messaged me from Lori. We're doing this story tomorrow. There's got to be something we can do on social. So I'm like, okay. I'll post it on the Good Morning Arizona page. I'll post it on the 360 page. And we'll say, you know, we've got this great story coming up. Share your photos, strip your makeup, and tell us in one word how you would describe yourself, right? But at the same time, I knew I need to see this. So I sent an email out to all of our anchors and reporters. And mind you, the morning team knew what I was doing. The evening and 19 had no idea. And my email was, hey ladies, before you go to bed, strip your makeup off. And when you strip your makeup off, take a photo with a piece of paper that tells me one word what describes you. So even in my own organization, there was hesitance because no one really wanted to strip themselves and put themselves out there. But what I did, you can see in my own organization, is Crystal Cruz was the first reporter to strip it, send me the photo. So I hit reply all and said, hey guys, Crystal sent her photo. Who's next? Terry Pena sends the photo, reply all. Hey guys, and by the time I got to Patty Kirkpatrick, everybody sent their photos in. And so even within my own organization, I had to see it and get that ball rolling. So in the morning, when the news story launched, I started seeding our Twitter feed, I started seeding our 2 Facebook pages, sprinkling in our reporters and anchors. And all of a sudden, I got the ball rolling, and people started sending in their photos. So what was supposed to be a few hours in the morning ended up being 2 days of photos and 3 different social media platforms. And the stories you can see by these women, daring, sober, blessed. Not only were they brave to strip and put their stuff up on a public platform, but they opened themselves up to feedback from everybody. And the cool thing is the feedback was positive. And so again, we just built a space where we connected with their audience and they connected with each other. So I think user-generated content is wonderful, but just be ready to give out some examples because some people need motivation, some people need examples, and some people just need to be pushed a little bit. Alright, so if you understand where your likes are coming from, and you have a content plan that you're following, and you're tracking, and you're measuring, and you're tweaking, then sooner or later you're going to hit a gold mine. This was mine before I left Channel 3. This is Bessie Cooper. She's one of the oldest women in the world. Turned 117. She did it by minding her own business and not eating junk food. So this little post right here was seen by liked by over 1.1 million people, commented on over 27,000 times, and shared over 33,000 times. Over 3.3 million saw this post. And so I don't tell you this because to tell you that you should be chasing that viral sensation. But I think if you're doing these things, you're eventually going to hit something like this. And what it did is obviously it spiked some likes, it spiked some engagement, and it got our brand out there to people who may have never known about us, especially being a local television station. And it gave me the opportunity to try and garner some of that loyal, a loyal fan base coming back and engaging with our brand. Of course, what goes up is going to come down. So this did eventually dwindle back down, but you will get there if you continue to practice. And there's a saying, author, I think his name's Eric Paul. He wrote Social Economics, and he just wrote a book called 5 Simple Ways to Become a Digital Leader. And he said it really, really good in his book. He said, fast, fail forward, and fail better. Because especially with technology and social media is changing so quickly, you just want to keep trial, error, track, measure, tweak, and you're really going to zone in on your community. And it's going to become quality over quantity. All right, so now that we understand where our likes are coming from, we've got our content plan, we're engaging. Well, how do we track the engagement of that new impression? And I saw this at South by Southwest, and I went to a panel, and she said, make insights your bitch. Because Facebook gives you tons of information for free. Spreadsheets and spreadsheets and spreadsheets. Everything you've ever want to know about your Facebook page and more. We talked about likes and engagement today, and I've dwindled it down for me to one key metric, which is talking about this. And of course, now let's do a definition real quick. Talking about this, TAT. The number of people sharing stories about your page. These stories include liking your page, posting it to your page's wall, liking, commenting on, or sharing one of your page's posts, answering a question you posted, RSVPing to one of your events, mentioning your page, photo tagging your page, or checking in at your place. Unique users. Individuals. So, at a glance, without digging too deep, this is a great way to see how your page includes engagement with your page. And it's so easy that Facebook put it on every single Facebook page's wall. So you can see yours, you can see your competitors, you can see your neighbors. And again, this is the surface. They have a ton of insights, really dig deep into some of this stuff. But right now we're going to talk about this, and we're going to look at some of the brands out there. Again, I'm from a news organization, so a lot of my examples are news. ABC 15, local television station. They are really, really good at getting new likes. They are really good at sweepstakes and contests. They're doing one right now. So they have over 102, and this is what I said, it's on every wall. Over 102,000 likes. And right now, 12,000 people are engaging with that brand. So if you do the math right there quickly, it's 12% engagement rate. Now, those aren't exact, that's just conceptual. 12% engagement rate. Then you move over to 12 News. 38,000 likes compared to 102. Over 8,000 people talking about that. That's a 23% engagement rate. That's a little higher than 50. Then you have Crim 2 News. This is one of my sister stations. They have less likes than ABC and 12. They have 23,000 likes. But they're talking about this numbers over 27,000. These screenshots were a couple of days ago. That TAT number is a 7 rolling day metric. So it shifts every day for the last 7 days. But yesterday they were at 40,000. So they're continuing to grow. So what I wanted to show you was 15 does a great job getting likes. They have a ton of opportunity to turn those likes into love. But at a 12% engagement rate, there's a lot of room there. 12 looks like it's going steady and good. Just for a news organization, it's not unheard of to have 30 plus percentage for engagement rate. This one here is blowing likes out of the water. They're engaging at 118%. So you can see the three different things or stages. And I just want you to know that it's possible to do this without a bunch of likes. It's possible to reach the fans of friends and on and on and on in the network by sharing relevant information. I attribute a lot of this to Hurricane Sandy and then knowing the Facebook algorithm and testing and just years of experience. But it's very possible. Okay, let's talk about businesses. Like I said, I've been 13 plus years in the news industry, so I know the news industry well. And I follow people or pages locally, nationally. I track their metrics, I see what they're doing. I see what the top people are doing, I see how they're doing it. And then I take those ideas and I tweak it to my brand. Because you have all those ideas of like simple questions in the morning, trivia in the afternoon. And I call that the average hamburger. But what's the special sauce that's going to be your brand? How do you take those ideas and tweak it to your stuff? And so the first piece of advice I would give you is find your benchmark. It doesn't take long to look locally and nationally at some competitors that do the same type of business that you do and see where their engagement rates are and to see what they're doing well and not doing well. Now, I'll preface this because I'm a very competitive person, but I don't say this because I want you have to beat the numbers of the TAT because then you're successful, because this is just a platform to help you reach your end goals. But I say this because without looking at what's out there, you may not be doing your best. saw the engagement. If you really dig deep, you can actually calculate your own engagement and how to beat the competition. So when I did it, I was at a 15% engagement rate on 3, and I wanted to beat the engagement of 102,000 likes. And so I knew I needed to be at 27% engagement rate, maybe 30,000 likes, or 32% engagement rate at 25,000 likes. And so, and again, those are just simple numbers. But I put that target out there, and I think if you do that, you'll not only meet it, but you're going to exceed it. Because that's what happened to me. Because I didn't know any better. Because I was like, oh, 15%, that's great. People are engaging, they're answering my questions, talking to me, they're sharing it. And so I went from 15% to 27% to 50% to like 63%. And my goal was always to be over 50%. And again, this is new, so that's not totally unheard of. But I think if you do this, it'll kind of open up and see where you're at in playing fields. And I always go national because those are always the bigger brands, because you can see what's possible. All right. So how does all this help your business? So we've talked about likes, and you can kind of see where your likes are coming from and how that fits in your engagement and your brand. We talked about creating a content plan and sticking to it and tracking it and measuring and tweaking to fit your community. So what this is all, and measuring it, and what it's doing is it's really forcing you to hone in on your audience. And those are the people you want. You want the quality people who are going to engage with your brand, who are going to click on the links to buy your product, who are going to drive traffic to your website. And if you know how to identify it, and you know how to measure it, then you can take your marketing and sales ideas and then utilize the social media platform to help your end goals. So all the tools are there, you just have to start testing them out, and knowing how to identify and measure it is the first step. So it's eventually going to hit your bottom line. All right. That's the end of the presentation. I talked about Facebook algorithms, and they always change. Just like Google has an algorithm that's always changing, and you've got your organic results and your paid results. Well, Facebook just changed their algorithm. They're changing a bunch of stuff right now. I don't know if you noticed. But they just changed the algorithm on the 20th or the 21st of September. And I have some articles that you guys can read on one of these slides. And what different experts are saying is, what happened is they changed their algorithm. So if you're used to doing an engagement rate of this with all your activity, you reach this many people. Well, they changed the algorithm to where now if you're still doing this, you're starting to reach like 6.5% less people. And a lot of people think it's because they want to generate more advertising revenue from the brands. And so especially the page posts. So you can now promote your posts to reach higher grounds. So that's one half, that's what they say. The other half, or Facebook, says, even though the number of people going and creating a Facebook account isn't growing as high as the other social platforms right now, the number of posts is increasing. So the competition is bigger and bigger. So think about that too when you're posting and you're trying to think about what action you're asking for. Also think about, is this post going to be better and more interesting than a post that someone else is doing? Because what they're saying is the competition is getting bigger because more and more people are posting throughout the day. So those are two different theories that are happening right now. They're going to continue to change it, but as long as you can utilize those tips to your brand and stay transparent and true to your brand, because the last thing you want to do is go on there and try all these things. Hey, like this if you want to say, hey, so like this, because it's not relevant to your brand. So one, Facebook's probably going to catch it, and two, it's not doing anything for you guys. So use them as tips and customize them to what you guys need out of them. I talked about third-party analytics. That was something about, the also thing I wanted to say is, a lot of people are saying that they're losing about 6.5% of the reach. But just alone in this presentation with Crime 2 News, I know some of our other reload stations have slightly lost some stuff, but there's still a possibility to gain without paying for it. And if you're going to put some advertising revenue away, or money away to buy ads, I personally suggest the page posts, because it's something that you would put out anyway. It's genuine, it's relevant to your information. And only promote the popular stuff. If you put a post out there that's not doing that well, can that one and promote the one that's getting better engagement. Because that's the one you know is already getting sticky already. So bump that one up to get your brand out there further. And these are just some of the tools that I use. And again, social media changes every single day, so then we can discuss some of the ones that you guys use. But in a nutshell, Facebook, great tool. log in through your Facebook page and it will analyze your page. And it will tell you what types of posts get the best engagement, what time of the day is the worst and the best. And again, look at it with a grain of salt because your weaknesses are opportunities. So you can turn that around by tweaking it. But in a nutshell, if you want to go through all your insights, this will check it for you. And I briefly talked about third-party metrics. I highly suggest if you're not using a tracking URL to use one. I use Bitly. It allows you to customize the URL to your brand, and it also allows you to customize per URL that you're tracking. And the reason I say this is you probably have analytics on your website that you can track referral traffic, but it's really hard to track social because you've got Twitter.com and you got T.co coming from mobile, and you got Facebook.com and you got mobile. And even if you're good at tracking that, it's always good to have a second source. And this way you can track in 2 places. And Bitly allows you to track, and it allows you to track in real time. And I don't know, there's a tip that I learned on a webinar. When you can actually look at your competition or anybody who's using a Bitly account, if you take the Bitly URL, put it in a web browser, and add the plus sign, it'll give you the real-time data of any Bitly URL. So you can, if you see something on your competitors, like if we saw the same story on another station, we could click and kind of see at a glance how many people clicked on it and how many users clicked on it for the time period.
She said again,
you type the URL, whatever that URL is,
okay.
and then put the plus sign afterwards in any web browser and hit enter. And it will show you real-time metrics. So I don't think a lot of people know that. Well, I also know that if you don't want people looking at your stats, so that's good to know. But I don't care. Facebook contests and sweepstakes, you have to use an approved third-party Facebook vendor. And one of my favorites is Ubox. It's a small company. It has great contest features, viral features, sharing features, and it's extremely economical. I think it's $29 to start, depending on your fan base. $29 per contest per page to run per month. So that's really cheap. And because it's a small company, the customer service is excellent. Many times I've gotten a developer himself on the phone and he's answered questions to a custom contest that I want to create. And once in a while, not that he's going to do this for everybody, but he'll actually tweak his code to help you. He's a cool guy. I think someone's going to buy him out soon. It's not going to be as awesome, but until then, that's a great tool. We didn't really talk about Twitter, but I have the same theory about Twitter. Just like Facebook, you can have all the likes in the world, but if no one's engaging with you, then what's the point? Twitter is the same way. You can have all the followers in the world, but if that fan base and that following is not doing anything for you or your company, then that number doesn't really matter. I want a big quality or a quantity. And so different things that I use to measure: retweet, rank.com. And again, these are all like economical versions because there's some really awesome stuff like Simply Better that's really expensive that I can't afford. But rank.com allows you to look by account. And I think you can do like one for free, and then you can add accounts for like $7 or something. It's really cheap. But it will show you past data as well. So I can actually export spreadsheets, months at a time and go on back in history. So I can see the number of tweets someone tweeted, out of those tweets, how many of them were retweeted, and out of that, what was the total reach from that network. So not only did I get your network, but I got the friends of the friends who are following you, so I can see how far that message went. And it also tracks mentions, which is big in our business, because if you're breaking news, usually the one that gets retweeted the most is the one that went out there first. And are you guys providing relevant information that is being shared? Or are we just all sitting there just typing in the air? Corporate America, I track stuff. Topsy.com is more real-time and relevant. Hurricane Sandy, you can go in and type those keywords and it will tell you by past hour, by past couple hours, by 7 days, by whatever. And it also pulls in, I think, like Google results as well as Twitter. And then Trends Map is just a tool that I like that really tracks what's trending globally. You can go local, national, and global, and at a glance. And so a lot of the times I would use this, and we would turn stories the same day because something would start trending. It's just a really cool feature to see what's going on. And then Storify, I use this as a search tool too, Storify.com. But that you can also use that to go in and track certain keywords, and it will pull in Twitter, Flickr, and all these different social media platforms. And you can go and pull those comments and photos that people are making into one it to their website and they write a story about it. I used it as a search tool and then handed it over to news because we were looking for photos for the flashing light, downtown Phoenix. Here's some of the articles. Like I said, Facebook's always changing. This is a Mashable article. These are the most engaging brands on Facebook. Might be something to look at if you want to benchmark yourself. City Search, I found this here in Phoenix. It's a list of Phoenix businesses that are using social media in their accounts. Might be useful. Facebook rolls out the options for fan notifications. So when they changed the algorithm, there was a backlash from Facebook or from brand owners. Facebook started beta testing where you can turn notifications on for a fan page. So now every time the fan page you like posts, it'll alert you in your alert section. Or there's still interest lists that you can put on. I think notifications is going to die because we like too many pages and we're just going to get inundated. That's my theory. I don't have the option yet. Newsfeed, EdRank, and page posts, what's going on. And then 3 ways to fight Facebook's algorithm and customize your feed. So if you want to read up on some of the changes. But again, I would just think about being social and think about your brand and have fun with it and track it and measure it and stay consistent. You're going to start listening. They're going to start talking, you're going to start listening because you're going to start tracking it. And in the end, it's going to be fun. So, that's it. Bye.
Sorry, 2 questions.
Okay.
Could you go
Okay,
back
I can
to
answer.
green before? I was just going to write something down. The second question, the book that you mentioned before about failing.
Fail fast, fail forward, fail better.
Is that the title or?
No, that's the quote from the book.
Okay.
It's called 5 Keys. Well, look up social economics. It's from the author of that. Social economics. Thank you. Social economics. Eric Wong. Yeah, 5 Keys to being a digital leader. It's awesome. Even if you're not tied to digital, it's just a great, great book. Any other questions, comments? I will. What I'll do is I'll tweet it out. I'll put it on SlideShare and put a link. That works. Any other tools that you guys use or that you find interesting? Hi.
I just want to validate, I'm Joe by the way.
Hi.
I want to validate your point about the reach decreasing, or they're talking about this decreasing. I've seen that pretty significantly, but I don't put much weight into numbers because I've also tracked independently. A lot more comments per post, a lot more shares per post, and
Awesome.
likes. So I think something's up with the tracking mechanism at this moment, and they might pick it up, fix it in like a month or so. I'm seeing some good activity
I
as a
totally
result
agree.
of the change.
Just like that, the talking about it, like it's a 7-day rolling number, right? It's supposed to change every day to the next 7 days.
Right.
I've seen days where it sticks for 3 days, and I'm like, there's no way it could be. So I get that. Yeah, I totally agree. It's Facebook is, they're making so many changes that they get a little glitchy. So everything with a grain of salt.
It could be a glitch, but I've noticed older posts coming up, but ones that don't even have engagement. I understand if there's some engagement can come back up, but ones that are like news.
I'm seeing the same thing, and some of these articles that I'm reading, it's how they change the algorithm, and now it's like, so not only are they trying to share the stuff that they think you're going to engage on, but they're also sharing it in different orders. So I don't have the answer to that,
Okay.
but I know that they're tweaking and doing stuff. Because if you go and Google EdRank right now, which is our Facebook algorithm, which is also known as EdRank, to try to capture and maximize it, you're going to see all kinds of articles. Some are bad, some are good, it's just crazy right now. Because they're making changes. So. And again, it's free to use, so my thing is I always benchmark, so I know it's not just me. So if I know, okay, if I'm decreasing, and then so are my competition and the levels that I put myself up against. So as long as I can stay in the realm of the world that I'm looking at, then it is what it is. And I put advertising money away, or I don't pick up another social media.
How do you go about explaining to clients that are so focused on the likes and the high numbers about the importance of the rest of the engagement and the analytics?
I got that a lot, and even in my own office, I get reporters like, look at all these followers that I have, and I was like, dude, I did anything for you. It's okay. Yeah, that is a great. I do it kind of like I did here, and what I do is I take the clients and I put them up against each other so they can kind of see in a nutshell, and I take a garners attention or, your brand, or how people engage with you. Because again, all the likes in the world don't mean anything. And where's your referral traffic? I mean, are you getting a ton of referral traffic coming back from social media? Or are you, in order to do that, you need to engage. And the other thing is a lot of them think because they have 1,000 likes that everybody gets their post all the time. And it's just not. That's not true. And so that's the route I take, because it's all about people seeing your post. And it tells you right there on each post now how many people are seeing it and clicking on it. And I think when they see them up against each other, that's when the bell rings, for me anyway. Like, this is great that you have these likes, look what so-and-so is doing. Or set a benchmark of, here's where we're at with referral traffic, let's try this and see what happens. You figure that out.
Are you talking about this metrics that you had? Is that just research that you did, you went to their pages and found it, or is there a source where you can easily find that stuff?
Not that I'm aware of. I just go to the pages really quick and check it out. Another thing you might not notice, but if you click on the word likes on any page, it will open up and show you their graph of likes for like the last week or so. Or in the URL, which is facebook.com/whatever that business name is, /likes. You can see the trends. So when people do contests, I would right away go in, likes, kind of pinpoint where they were, so I can see it, and then so I can see their spike, and then you can kind of see it go right back down. So you can see what's going on. And again, I can say, okay, so-and-so just gave away an iPad. This is my likes I got out of it. I'm just going to competitive stuff.
I was going to answer the metrics question. I don't
Yes,
track
please.
them, but it's actually from James Archer. 40 was last year, and he said it great. He said, I love my wife, but you can't put a value for you can't quantify her.
That's and I've heard a lot.
Kind of gets them off focus on.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot too that some people, and I think some of our PR people, that they feel, and automotive industry for some reason, they feel that a lot of likes gives them some credibility. Like, hey, I got some credibility. And maybe it does to some people, but maybe because I'm just a marketing nerd and I dig deep, and it's like, no. There was a third way that I had on here about how to gain likes, and it was called Quickie. But whoever edited my slides said it wasn't worth anything, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So there is a company or a website called Fiverr.com. Have you guys heard of it? Alright. So this kind of blew up in my face because I was tracking metrics for Channel 3, and all of a sudden they come to me like, so-and-so, not our station, but competitor. Here's your likes by 3,000. And then pops up Fiverr.com. I don't know how they did it, but Fiverr.com, it's Fiverr, is a bunch of our freelancers post their services for everything they can do for $5. So it can be logo design, and it can be to buy Twitter followers, and it could be for likes. So I tested it, and over 2 days I got 1,000 likes on a big page for $5. So I tracked and followed those likes. I'm like, how the hell are you doing this? And you get what you pay for. You get likes, but most of them are, not all, are inactive or fake, and they do nothing to engage with your brand. So, and if it was that easy, geez, man, we would all be doing that for $100.
Doesn't it drag your stats down too?
Well, yeah, I mean, you think about it. I mean, my theory is people who are doing that don't probably look at the rest of the stats, but yeah, absolutely.
Really have someone reading down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's true. I definitely changed our stats when that came out because everybody in the newsroom was like, so-and-so got likes, and I was like, it's not about the followers and likes, it's about what they do for you. Are they engaging with you? Are they getting the news? You can get it. Are they retweeting? So I actually ended up taking likes followers out and saying, let's look at this stuff. So, anyone else?
When you said that you can tell when people see that post,
Yes.
that's probably gets a little bit understand Facebook. Is that post on other people's profile pages, or is that people actually coming to your Facebook?
Sorry for all that. The way I understand it, chime in. When you're obviously an admin to your page, you can see that. No one else can see it. I don't think. But that's everybody who's seeing it everywhere. Am I right? Because a lot of people don't come to your page. They actually see stuff in the newsfeed, or they see Joe, who just, my friend, just clicked on like this or commented on it, and they see it there. So that's another interesting thing
So if I have like 200 likes on my brand page, that doesn't mean, it means technically everybody got it on their feeds?
Not at all.
No,
See,
okay.
it's actually, that's
Okay.
the myth or whatever. That's what people think.
Right.
That because I have 200 likes, that all those people are seeing all of my posts all the time. And they're not, because it's Facebook's algorithm that's going in and saying, okay, you just posted something, and you usually comment on his stuff. So when he posts something, we're probably going to put it in your newsfeed, right? And you comment on his stuff, so you may see him comment on it. So it's just, and it's by person and it's by brand. And so that's what they're doing. And that's what I'm talking about. We've all guessed from experimenting and from research on the algorithm and how it works. And that's what we're saying, post interacts. Because people will engage with your posts. And if people are engaging with your post and your brand, then more people are going to see it. Because Facebook's going to say, hey, that's pretty important. People are looking at it and reading it. I'm going to share it to the next level of people, friends, and things. So.
I always assumed, though I don't know this for sure,
Yeah.
that when he makes a post and it goes out to 200 news feeds, Facebook could tell if 150 people logged in and happened to scroll past that or not. I just always assumed that was part of how that works, but I mean,
I think, someone correct me. I think if you go to his page, you go to his page, you'll see all his feeds.
right.
But I'm going to assume that you may not see it. I don't know. You know, I was actually testing this because I was testing interest list because I
Yeah, nobody, not everyone sees everything.
even if you continue
I
to
run it for
scroll,
my
scroll,
page that I work
scroll,
with. Yeah, no,
Okay.
even if you scroll it and scroll it and scroll
Yeah.
it, because it's the same thing as like with your friends too. Facebook decides
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
see from your friends. If you click under their name or like the add friend, it's got this thing where you can decide how much you want to see. Like my sister who lives in China, I decided I want to see everything she posts but then my sister-in-law really posts all the damn time. I just put like just the important person. As important as what Facebook decides what is important. It's the same thing for your fans. I've got fans for our Facebook page that post on everything, comment on everything. They see everything. But somebody I get calls all the time, people are like, well, how do I start getting your Facebook things? Like they think that I have control over it. And I was like, you have to comment on stuff in order for Facebook to go, oh wait, oh no, she actually does want to see that.
Right, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to send them all the information that you have. Because otherwise, our people will every single thing.
So what is just important actually mean? When I say I only want to see important things from you, because when you post, you don't say this is an important post.
Would be engaged stuff, like who engages, like I wrote something on my personal profile that maybe it was in the height of the election night, and I wrote something that was really snarky, and it clearly showed up in everyone's feed as important because they were engaging.
Because Shannon sent it.
Well, it was Shannon Hernandez at that point, but if I would have written it as Shannon, they would have been a firestorm. But even on my personal page, it got 50 likes and a few unfriendings because they thought I was more against the certain candidate. I was being very general about it.
So you think it's the algorithm?
I think it's about the algorithm and what is important. So if you have a picture of your cat, sitting on, a dog, and everyone's like, oh, that's a cute factor, and they like it, and it's going to show up as an important part of the feed. But if it's something like saying, oh, I just went to the store and I bought Metamucil or something, people are like, who cares? That's probably not job.
What's interesting, and this is funny. Timely, because we said post often. Timing is everything, and I should know this because I've been used, but it took me a while to learn it. Super Bowl, we're all watching with our second screens and like the big thing. During the Super Bowl, right before Madonna started, I said something on Facebook, and it blew up. But I think it was the timing, and it even beat some of the national competitors that we have. But if I watch like the Emmy Awards and the next day say, hey, did you watch the Emmy Awards last night? What did you think? It's like, you get a little bit of engagement. So timing, I've noticed that if you do it right when it's happening, a lot of people are second screening now. That's everything is going up. So that's timing too. So holidays, whatever.
Well, I have I subscribe to NFL Red Zone, and they're all into social media. And the guy, Scott Hansen, the guy there goes to the bathroom for like 7 hours. He's tweeting me, and I'm like, I think it's me, and TikToks of, all the screens when it comes up and all the games going at once. And yeah, it's amazing. And that's the thing you can tell, it just dries it, So
It's really nice.
yeah.
I mean, in working the past 13 years in television, it's pretty cool to know everybody's streaming right now. And mobile, oh my gosh, that's growing faster than anything else right now.
I was gonna say that it's real time because somebody in Lake Tahoe posted a picture of them on a boat in winter, and somebody said, "How's the temperature so nice?" Because it's like they don't even think; it's the context, so they think it's real time. And it's increasing because people are mobile or they're at an event, and then when it's over, it's done. That's next.
Well, something that I learned to try to do is to try to, if I'm going to schedule a post out on Facebook, and I know, say that if I do a schedule, and I know I'm not going to be up at 7 o'clock, but that's a high time, or I'm not saying 7 o'clock is, but I'll post it a half hour before people reach their desks, so that when it comes up, that it's the first thing that pops up on their, hopefully going to be the first thing that pops up on their screen. Hopefully. At that point, 15, 20 minutes before, an hour.
Which is good because if they're looking for content.
Right. It's going to be one of the first things.
Are you tracking that and testing different times?
Well, I've been testing it now. I haven't been tracking it, but I have been noticing higher engagement on my posts now because I'm posting at certain times now.
It's true.
And scheduled posts also get a lower ranking.
They do.
So just keep that in mind. If you go off just scheduled, then you're going to automatically lose a little bit because of that.
They
But I
want
know
you to stay
also
true to the or as organic as you can.
I also know as a scheduled post that I'm going to be posting afterwards too, because I know that it's going to put the message out there, but my subsequent messages are also going to be out there, so they're going to see it.
And that always, because I never schedule the news, because it always scares me. The morning, I almost did, because I would get up at 4:15 before the 4:30 GMAT started, and I almost, the day the Batman movie came out, I almost had a silly question about Batman. And I woke up and it was a shooting in Colorado. And I was like, thank goodness that I didn't do it. So, not that you would have those problems, but it's something, don't ever post, like, make sure that you go back and check what's going on.
Kind of going back to schedule posts a little bit, does anyone know what about from the third party app, like Hootsuite, does that affect it also?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and people can hide Hootsuite too.
Yeah,
They can make it so they don't even see it in their feed at all.
That lowers you in the
Which,
algorithm.
yeah.
Where it comes from.
I'm really trying to get away from things.
Because their
No,
impression
I-
of the person's not there.
Yeah.
And it's becoming
Right, because they
more-
would just collapse everything from your feed.
Yeah, no, they can block Hootsuite altogether, so nothing appears.
Yeah.
If it's from Facebook or something somebody shared that has higher relevance than just something from like,
Right.
I'm on my Kindle app and share something and it goes like Kindle to Facebook. And those things kind of get.
The third parties feel like on their own.
Well, I found out that
Some people say they want to sell.
I use Hootsuite to schedule Facebook and stuff because a lot of my who like this, I found out they're in the Northeast. A lot of those there are in trains and subways, so they can be engaged in their phone or iPad or whatever. Unlike the West, where you were driving, they want to read something. So I usually hit between 7 and 8 a.m. when they're on the train and like in the Chicago area down the L. So they're more using mass transit, like in and stuff. So.
Two things. I say do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Because we have reporters and anchors, and it's like, I'm not going to make you log into the web when you're out. If you have to use a third-party app to do it, because I want you to. The other thing is Facebook allows you now to post from the Facebook box. Have you guys seen that? And it's tricky. It's like adding an event to your page. And so you click on that, I think it's the clock. So you click on that, and you can actually pick the date, the day that you're on, and the time, and it's in 10-minute increments. And so it'll actually put it in your activity list, and you can post it to your Facebook. So that's something to look at.
One thing I didn't really hear much about is that there's more to Facebook than just publishing posts. Like they have other forms of content like milestones
Yes.
and doing a lot with video. And I think that I've seen really good response to that because if you're look at it kind of from the end user's kind of stream of you're fighting with all these brands. All of them are just publishing posts. If you're the only one who's publishing a video, Facebook will reward that, and I've seen a good response rate to that.
Yeah, video, they rank video higher because it is rare.
Yeah.
And the timeline is awesome. And those are things that what I call are like the special sauce. Because everybody's doing all this, and here's what you can do to get here. But just take your brand to the stations used to do Facebook forecasts, and they would sit at their desk and they would tell you the forecast. But I would never see high engagement, and I was just like, one of these days I'm going to figure out how to make that work. But and I think that's probably why I get ranked higher, because it's probably hard to pull off a video that's funny.
And I was doing screen caps of the weather now, in my feed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what's funny is research was telling us that that was working out more
Yeah.
in the mornings.
How much time do you spend on Facebook today?
When I was working for Channel 3, because I just resigned to spend time with my family 5 weeks ago, I was spending probably 4:15 in the morning to close to 11 o'clock at night. But I was flexible and moving around and doing stuff. So yeah.
Were you on other platforms too?
I was. Google Plus. Strictly, when it came out, we were really doing hangouts and stuff behind the scenes, and I just didn't see a lot of interaction there. I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but for the search engine power alone, we were doing that. We dabbled in Instagram, Twitter. I was just starting to play with out a little bit. I know it's far right here. Mostly Facebook and Twitter. And we saw our highest engagement from our referral traffic. But that's also why I did that.
It's kind of switching gears, but when we get something that's really people are engaged with, people are commenting, I have the issue where you get really negative, really offensive comments. When do you go in and delete something? Do you go in and do you make the decision to delete? I'm just trying.
I do make the decision. I'm sorry, your name?
Stephanie.
You can imagine, because of our news, and we tried posting something about Brewer and our bio not having something negative. Right. I have anything against them, but people have opinions. And I go by the, and you know, some people don't like what our reporters are running that day, and some people don't like the way they're talking on TV, and I see all of that on our pages. But to me, everybody's has the right to their own opinion. We did post some guidelines that we want to keep it PG-13, because we don't want you guys attacking each other. But I actually never ever really removed any of that stuff, because 99% of the time, people come and they counteract the negativity, and they take care of themselves in the stream. And so I watched it, but I never, probably maybe once or twice, have I deleted anything. And if I did, I went into the comment section and I said, hey Joe, you know, we really try to keep this PG-13. Can you get a little bit more creative in the word that you used? You know, and I probably brought in a parse, or you know, something like that. And say we will be removing your comment shortly. Feel free to see it and add that. I just try to stay transparent, because I've learned the hard way from another website that I used to run at Channel 3, that if you get in there and you try to communicate, people just keep coming at you, because most negative people, in my experience, will continue, even if people right, will continue to go back and back and just build up fire and keep it. So they do guidelines, and then I just stay under those guidelines. Transparent. Anyone else?
You can block people too.
Yeah.
If there's somebody that's like just being ugly for the sake of being ugly, send them a message. Don't know.
Yeah, you can block if you report. Not just spam.
Comments, it was all happening at 2 in the morning, and I was just sitting here going, oh,
Yeah, I think there's a fine line of sharing your opinion and being abusive.
yeah, and it got off topic really quick.
Yeah.
So that's when some of your posts had to delete stuff.
Yeah, but you can do that and be transparent. Like, hey, this kind of got off topic. Let's shut down these comments and let's start something else. Or sometimes we would